Come along with me as I clean out my school bag and tell you about my nursing school experience. So back in 2023, I signed up for a school, which I will not be naming, and decided that I was going to set out to become a registered nurse. So I attended for the last 2 years through all the sacrifice, all the tears, all the blood, sweat, and tears. And I came down to my second to last semester. I had one class. I ended up flunking. Now, I am not going to say that I am, being unbiased, but I will set out some points here for you to tell you that I think I genuinely was just not given a good hand. I had never failed a class my entire educational career, and this was the first time. Halfway through the first time I took this class, the teacher, they ended up firing or letting go, or she quit, or I'm not really sure what the circumstance was, but all I know is she was gone. So in a rush, they ended up splitting the class between two professors, which had never taught this class before. Not saying they aren't great nurses or anything amongst that, and so they were just kind of thrown into it. So I ended up just taking the class again, which by this time they had not found a new professor. And I just genuinely feel like if I had a more seasoned professor who was, really good at it and had been doing it a long time, that I would have been dealt a better hand. So I appealed the class to the school, and they basically told me I'm SOL. I had mentioned in my letter asking for an appeal that my grandmother had passed away 2 months prior, and they just did not care. So I was heartbroken, devastated, and I didn't know what I was going to do after sacrificing 2 years of tears, money, and et cetera, et cetera. So I decided, for starters, I was going to get something out of the last 2 years, and I had all these credits. I decided to challenge the state of Florida and sit for my NCLEX LPN, which I ended up getting. Woo! And so now I am a LPN. I did end up considering joining the field, and I took a couple of interviews and just decided that I felt like I was settling. I felt like this was not what I had initially set out to do, and I may be crazy, I may be stupid, I may be compassionate, and I decided I'm going back to school. And I start again next week. And I'm having a whirlwind of emotions as I'm afraid of going through the same thing again, but I have faith that God set out for me to do this to begin with, and that this was just a speed bump in my story. And so I'm not going to let this deter me. I'm going to go with an open mind and an open heart and fall back in love with what I had originally set out to do. So, but if you know anything about nursing school, you know it's not a fun time. And if you end up leaving the program, the other schools do not transfer your credits. So that was another reason why I decided to get my LPN, because at least then I would be getting some sort of nursing school credit. And so, which I'm going to do a separate video on that, because after this year-long of research, I had found some loopholes that I think a lot of people should know, whether you had been an LPN for a long time and now are deciding to go back to school again, or you're in a situation like I was. And I'm going to share what I did to bring me to where I am now. And so wish me luck on my next journey, and thanks for watching.